Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of That Range Life, a show usually about golf.
Mostly. Oh.
We already lost a phone right out of the gate. Okay, and the camera. Welcome to another episode of That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf. I don't know how much golf we're going to talk about today, but hey, welcome back to the garage. It's freezing. It's getting progressively colder every week.
Yeah, 54 degrees is what the
that's what the
says right now.
our heater says.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's accurate. I don't believe it.
I gotta bring WD-40 next time I come to this stupid garage with this chair.
No,
this is the worst.
I love it.
This is my nightmare.
Which is funny because I guarantee you these chairs are swapping. It's something about you sitting. Maybe that's it. You don't weigh enough.
Right.
That might be it.
I'm too light for these chairs.
Anyway, man.
Yeah.
Before we get into things, as always, I'm gonna. This was fun for a minute. Take the hood off.
Is that a new hat? Real quick.
New hat.
Yeah.
Not available on the store. I wanted to see what it looked like in person first. I think I like it.
I like it. Looks good.
It's okay. I went the white on. I didn't want it to jump out, but
yeah. There you go.
But I dig it. I think I'm into it. So we'll see how it goes. Then I realized that because it's so effing cold, I got clashing tie-dyes going, but I don't care. That's fine.
No one would have noticed.
No one knows.
Now you just ruined it. Did you see?
It's good, chair creak. Well, and it's so cold. The chairs are probably nice and brittle and rigid.
It's true.
All
right.
Hey,
Yeah.
before we go any further, go down below, hit subscribe
Right.
to Chris's YouTube channel. What am I forgetting? The bell.
Yeah, hit bell.
Hit the bell, get notified.
And the thumbs up.
We'll we got some video. We actually have some videos coming, and Golf Origin Stories has been posting the video version every Sunday lately, and they've been quite enjoyable. We'll talk about that more later.
Sure.
But do all the YouTube things. That'd be great.
It's kind of fun. We got the whole crew here. We got the whole team.
It's a little uncomfortable
in the garage.
Yeah.
We got Riv and Grant hanging out.
Yeah. Welcome, Intern Grant.
It's
nice
our first
to see you,
live,
Riv.
truly live show without just one person watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Something. Look at us.
Yeah.
What a team.
I'm telling you.
Hey, so one of the things that maybe it's because I'm looking for it that's jumped out at me in the last two garage episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They're so prominently featured, but we
It's
don't
true.
talk about the beer we've been drinking or any of the beverages we've had.
Yeah.
But they have been very carefully curated every time, and we're putting a lot of effort into it.
It's a good call by you to call them out moving forward. So,
I felt like
I think people, there's a lot of beer drinkers out there, and I think they would enjoy a little discussion on the backstory of each beer.
whether we know it or not.
Yeah, whether they like it or not, really.
There's that as well. So why don't you? I will open and pour.
All right.
Right?
Yeah,
It'll
sure.
be very dramatic. Why don't you talk about the beer we're having today?
Sure. This is Bourbon County from Goose Island. Now, back in the day, what would you say, 5-6 years ago, when Goose Island was still independent? They've since been purchased by a bigger distributor. They were sort of on the forefront of
InBev, that is. That's InBev.
Right. And they were on the forefront of this style of beer, of this bourbon barrel
That was good.
beer. And so what you'd have to do, they would release it every year. Once a year, they release their standard sort of barrel aged and then also a handful of variants. And you'd have to wait in line. It was the day after
Intern
Christmas.
Grant, you can try that.
It was the day after Christmas every year, or day after Thanksgiving every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have to go and wait in line
Yeah.
to get your allocation.
And you think we're cold now?
Yeah.
Did you ever do it? Did you ever do one of the lines?
One time I had to stand in line.
Miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would always buy them kind of aftermarket. I'd get the word on what was good, what wasn't good. I had friends that were really, really into it. And so they would always hand off, one or two or whatever. So
Right.
But I just drank the 2016 standard a few nights ago.
And those are a big deal, if you recall, for any Bourbon County. I'm sure we talked about this last year, but 2016 was following that huge year where everything got infected.
Yeah, everything was
And
bad.
so they treated them and bottled conditioned them differently the next year, but it's still pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. But it's fun, like if you get together with people that have been doing this for a while. Like, so when I go to Michigan, we have a vertical of a certain Bourbon County. So we'll do 4 or 5 years in a row, and you can taste the aging.
Yeah,
it's super nerdy, but it's a fun thing to do.
You want to go down the nerdy tasting notes of the verticals. I will tell you, as I said that about 2016, there was a time where it's like, 15, 16, 17, it's still good. But like, as it's continued, it is not, if you ever had the pleasure of a 14, 13, et cetera, like they did make it better back in the day. It was better. And we're like, nope, same thing. Like, no, it's not. Don't lie to me. Yeah,
it's been an interesting evolution of this beer, because I also don't think it's nearly as in demand as it has been in the past. In fact, I was at the Costco early Saturday morning, and they had it.
Okay.
Just the standard,
right?
No variants or anything, but they had just stacks of it, of this year's stuff, and that would never happen. No, back in the day.
No,
so,
not even with regular. Right?
It's a combination of they're making more of it probably because they have a bigger manufacturing process or manufacturing, provider.
Let's say a little more push behind the brand these days.
And it's probably not. So what did we just pour here?
You can talk about these.
This is the cola.
The cola
variant.
The cola variant.
Cheers.
I don't even know what that means. Wow, that tastes just like your favorite cola.
What does it taste like? It tastes like
It tastes like, here, ready, because we're from Chicago. It's a Chicago beer. It tastes like Bourbon County with pop in it. That's what it tastes like to me.
Yeah, but
not soda.
Yeah, but I guess a little bit of that. But maybe it's caramel. Maybe I'm tasting some caramel.
A little bit,
notes.
yeah. Which it naturally always has because of going through bourbon barrels. But it's there.
It's pretty good. It's sweet. It's sweet.
Very sweet. That's what I heard. And on the streets, all the cool beer kids were telling me.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I don't need. This is the beauty of it, and it's wonderful we get to share because I don't know if I need full 16.9 ounces of it.
Oh no, I would say any of these beers are meant to be shared,
especially the older I get. Ooh,
yeah,
man, take one of those down yourself, you'll feel it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's our beer.
That's beer talk, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great.
Good.
It was really good. We had some. It was an interesting sort of. The logistics of it was interesting because we were making the food, but my mother-in-law was hosting. She lives a few blocks from us.
I hate when that happens. It's so much work when we'll make the food and my mom hosts because I have to walk it across the street.
Well, here's the thing, and I think you'll appreciate this. So I prepped everything at the house, turkey and things, but we were going to roast it over at her house.
Okay.
But it's a totally unfamiliar oven.
Yeah.
One that doesn't get a lot of use, quite honestly.
Ooh.
She tends to order in all of her meals.
I see what you did there.
Which is, there's a reason why we made all the food and brought it over there. But
it's getting real.
But so the logistics were a little challenging, but at the end of the day, it was good. We hadn't had Thanksgiving with Zell's family and forever. So it was good. Do you want me to get into the draft conversation? Because that's kind of part of Thanksgiving. Well, how was yours? How did the bird turn out? So we got pictures of it. It was split in half for some reason. I don't understand that.
I carved it already. I think the picture I sent you,
you had split it. So okay, so you.
The spatch. No, I spatchcocked it. Yeah, so especially when you're smoking it.
Do you have to bleep that out?
No, not in this show. You live on the edge. But when you're uploading, you have to choose a 18 plus language box.
Right.
Yes. And to be honest with you, when you do, so what you do, you cut the spine out of it and you basically break its rib cage and flatten it. And the reason you do it cooks quicker and more evenly as opposed to if you have the full turkey.
Right. So I have to tinfoil the breast while it's roasting traditionally because that will dry out. It gets to 165 faster than the rest of the
that will avoid it. And because you don't want to cover the bird because you want that smoke getting on the skin, right?
Yeah.
And but man, you cut that spine out and flatten the thing, the inside of the turkey is not meant to be seen like that. It's disgusting, especially after you've now clipped the rib cages right into the spine.
How do you remove? This would have been a great episode like 2 weeks ago.
Everybody and their mother posts it though, to the point like that was my bit on Instagram. It's like, great, I'm gonna spend a whole day just seeing.
There's a first timer out there, every week
who loves golf sometimes.
Yeah.
There is a guy, I can't remember. I would totally give him a shout out right now, but he's a big Traeger ambassador or whatever, who just so happens to be a huge golf nerd too and lives on a golf course. And I've reached out to him before. I'm like, hey, I know you do this stuff on Instagram. That's like your spot. Would you be willing to do like a video for us? And we'll put it up on the website, YouTube channel, whatever. And we'll link back to you, do all that. And he's like, oh, no, I'm too busy. I love that idea, but I won't. I'm probably not going to get around to doing anything like that this year anyway. And sure enough, I fire up Instagram on Thanksgiving.
There
just
he is.
huge videos. Like, come on, bro. That's the content I care about.
So, anyways, the bird turned out
so good.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we did an Alabama white sauce. Homemade.
Same one as last year.
Yep, did it again. Went over beautifully. Everybody loved it. I was like, I'm not crazy about it. And I think that's just me being particular and picky. It just wasn't, maybe not in the mood for it. But
better last year, or just in general, you're not a fan? I
think I was over it. Like I had it the one time I knew it, but frankly, it was smoked so perfect. It was like I could have just eaten this thing plain and been happy. And it was so juicy.
How long do you smoke a turkey?
I could have probably gotten it done in 3.5 hours.
Okay, so it's about the same as.
But you can, if you want to just roast it, you're not so much worried about getting that smoky profile on it. It doesn't take too long. But I wanted that. I wanted that smoky profile.
Sure.
And it was so good. So we had leftovers, and in fact, as we are recording this on Sunday, sort of our last night of the food, the leftovers still good.
Yeah.
We made a. When I say we, my wife made a turkey pot pie with the leftovers. Oh, shit. But keep in mind, this is a barbecue smoked turkey, and so it was so good because as you're eating this pot pie, it's just like smoky barbecue turkey pot pie. It was great, so good.
Nice.
And every now and then you'd get like a chunk of turkey in it with a nice little smoke ring in your pot pie. So yeah, it was fantastic. All the food was really good. Nice little feast at my mom's house. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I tried to not eat that much given my health.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good, all things considered, but that was a rough night's sleep.
Yeah, we ate way too much too. It's just impossible not to. I mean, it's just, there's so much food.
A little bit of everything is too much.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and my mom made a killer macaroni and cheese.
I saw there was some sort of thing on Twitter, maybe it was Instagram. I think it was Twitter. People bagging on mac and cheese. It's like, I don't want anything to do with you people.
No,
mac and cheese is unbelievable.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's one of the biggest things as I've had to make these changes to my life. Like, hey, something like mac and cheese is loaded with stuff that's bad for you. No,
right.
I need this. Right. And I actually just saw something where people are putting it back on the smoker with like leftover pulled pork in a skillet, making mac and cheese.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, I'm ready to make 17 pounds of pulled pork just to make that with the leftovers. Side note, you should do that even though it'll be freezing when you get back from the Dominican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So yeah, talk about this fruit draft you want to propose.
Yeah. No, well, it broke out during dinner. So, you're at Thanksgiving dinner, you're talking about whatever, you run out of things to talk about eventually, and you start talking about whatever it is. And we had dessert. And my end of the table all hit. There was a fruit platter. We all hit the fruit at the end, sort of as like an amuse-bouche, to kind of like cleanse the palate a little bit.
Talking about sensory,
sort of like just like to end the meal, like
a palate cleanser.
Yeah. And so we all happened to grab at different fruit that was in the fruit platter.
What was in the fruit platter?
So there was, it's pineapple. Strawberries, different melons, some grapes, I think, those sorts of things.
It's an amazing amount of time we've spent on this show over the last year talking about grapes. We've talked about grapes a lot.
Yeah, I have a whole nother thing
Oh.
about grapes and cherries and things like that because we got my wife and I got to a side conversation around fruit. Anyways, so I asked first round pick, any fruit in the world. What's your first round pick? Wait, Josh, first round pick of fruit? Grant?
Apples.
It's got to be more specific than that.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
What do you mean?
Maybe.
Cold Honeycrisp apple.
Okay, that's the right answer. But as in terms of apples,
I was like, oh wait, so
in terms of apples,
so
a Honeycrisp apple, man.
now
God,
this
so
is
good.
tough for me, and when I saw this could be a topic tonight, I imagined to be somewhere along these lines.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know my favorite fruits, and I'm freezing up on it because my fruit preferences have evolved over the years.
Okay.
I used to be a big strawberry guy as well, Josh. Especially, this is a trick I got from my dad as a kid. You get like a bowl of some sort of yogurt. Mm-hmm. It's not bad to go with maybe a whipped strawberry yogurt. You dip it in that, and then dip it in brown sugar.
Oh my God.
It's delightful.
Just take away all the healthy pieces of the strawberry.
I mean, it's especially if we're eating it as a dessert.
All right. Well,
But
do you have an answer?
Strawberry is not so much more.
Clock-
You know what? I think it
Bill
might
Bush
be
is on the clock.
my number one, and I'd say banana.
Oh, see, yeah, gross.
It's
Pineapple is the number one pick.
Was-
Pineapple is the number one.
It was a big pineapple guy, and I kid you not, Liam is allergic. Like violently
really?
throws up.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
What? So today I enjoyed though a nice. We went grocery shopping. The in-laws were at the kids, and I got a nice bottle of mango pineapple juice. It was delightful.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And then we got in a whole conversation because
I love pineapple.
Well, I think like Grant, you could have traded down for extra picks with apple. I think banana, you could probably, I don't know,
like
banana.
what, plantains?
First round pick. No, I mean, you could like,
I
as a
see what you're
first round
saying.
pick, you could trade your first round pick and get like a later first round and maybe a second, maybe a fruit to be named later.
That's probably true.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like bananas.
I didn't need to spend banana up front. Oh, well, in terms
My
of
wife went raspberries.
in terms
I was
of
like, you're fired. You're the worst GM in the history of fruit drafts.
I screwed up. It's not like I don't know how a draft works. Picking that first, trying to put together the best lineup possible, bad move. It's sort of like you as a golf companion. Like, who's the favorite person I want on my team? Yeah, the banana. Who's the best person to win? Not the banana. Though,
I mean,
Gramps,
it's a draft.
it helps you with your potassium.
It's a draft. So, you're building your fruit team.
It's definitely
Who do
an
you want leading your fruit team?
It's an emotional thing. I mean, the banana's gotten me through a lot throughout my life, whether it's being sick, cramps in hockey,
Sure.
you name it, or just like you're a little hungover and you got to go somewhere in the morning. Like, it's all right, knock down a banana.
I appreciate that no one here said like watermelon, any melon, cantaloupe. Those are honeydew. Those are trash fruits, man. Those are garbage fruits.
I wouldn't go that far.
They don't deserve to be. Not in the first round of a fruit draft.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it does bring me back. Who
plus,
told
like,
you to have a watermelon orgy?
Plus, like watermelon, you've got seeds you have to deal with, which are nonsense. Like, why would you eat anything that you have to like remove a seed?
Do you remember in
nonsense.
Always Sunny was like, I swallowed some apple seeds. Did you make yourself throw up? Yes, immediately.
Yeah. So that was and then there was a whole conversation because, strawberry and pineapple, there was a preparation discussion. Like, well, strawberries, you can just grab and eat, but like, we're not animals here. Like, I can just go to the store and buy cut pineapple.
Right.
So that
Do you know
argument
what's
is moot.
delightful and never gets enough credit? Because it's not fresh, blah blah blah. The cans, the like can opener cans of pineapple with the juice in it.
Oh my God, it's gotta have so much processed.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sugar
It
and
doesn't mean
everything
it's
else.
not good.
Oh yeah, I mean we grew up on it.
Right. It's like it will always hold a wonderful place in my heart. Now, if you want to get into like, it's got to be fresh fruit and that's out the window, like, okay, fine. But
Something that we learned from this conversation, the avocado is a fruit.
Tomatoes being fruit.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I believe
Yeah.
that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Flesh behind the skin, seed in the middle.
Now I sort of wonder if I didn't think it was a fruit before. I can't imagine a world where
I can't say I ever thought about it, but when I read that it was a fruit, I was surprised, I guess.
What about like squash and pumpkins? Are they fruits?
Fruits? Pumpkin's a fruit for sure.
Got a bunch of rotten ones over here.
I saw that.
This animal's got to eat, We had like painted ones from school on the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
The perfectly good, clean ones, animals don't touch. But the ones where they've just been eaten through the sides of them, of course, are the painted ones.
Painted ones, yeah.
What else? What was your fruit lineup? Are we going to keep drafting?
No, that was just the first round pick. It was just like, what's
I'm
your
upset,
number
yeah.
one pick of the fruits?
That is my emotional favorite. It was a poor.
Yeah, I mean, some GMs vote with their hearts, some with their brains, like Josh and me.
I don't think that's fair to say. Josh did. Wait, who am I kidding? It's you, of course. Yours is always the right pick. Yeah,
Although the Honeycrisp apple,
it's pretty good.
that's such a good apple.
It
And
is.
like you get a jar of peanut butter by your side with the Honeycrisp apple.
It's funny. It's like been Sarah's go-to thing. Now she's like,
Yeah.
just gonna peanut butter up some slices of apple.
Yeah.
Just call that a meal. I go, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I do that. That's lunch sometimes.
I just don't eat lunch nowadays.
All right, should we talk a little golf before we start talking about other things that aren't golf again?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's Thanksgiving week. Kids are home. It's freezing ass cold out.
Right. It was really cold a day or two ago when we were talking about that.
I don't know if you've ever been to the Dome during Thanksgiving holiday time.
Oh,
Black
God.
Friday, Thanksgiving,
No.
Blackout Wednesday,
Never.
Saturday, Sunday. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
We almost got to go to Tour Edge on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but unfortunately our buddy John was just too busy. That would have been a nice way to sort of like, get those demons out, do a little golf.
Right.
But
Right.
it is miserable. So I didn't do anything golf related other than try to work on the website a little bit. Writer's Block City. But I didn't do anything golf.
Did you watch a certain
And that
golf
was
event?
going to be my next point. I'm looking for golf to watch on TV. And I saw the European Women's Tour was playing in Spain.
Yeah.
Didn't watch any of it.
Yep.
The Johannesburg Open just got canceled because of COVID and weather.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's all right. We had Amanda Balionis, the GOAT, on
Right.
the ground chasing after Brooks and Bryson in the match. The big feud being settled on the course once and for all. We got Phil and Chuck
Right.
in the booth, which is guaranteed gold.
Right.
I cannot tell you how little interest I had, not only in watching it and not watching it. I didn't want to watch it or following anything to do with that. I'm like, man, I literally could not care less about this.
Yeah. I didn't know that it was. I'd forgotten it was on. One. Then I didn't know what time it was on. For some reason, I thought it would be like later in the evening, like prime time almost.
Okay.
Like, and then
Imagine it wasn't because of football. No, I don't know.
no,
They
because
do
it
the-
was Friday.
I guess they don't do.
There might have been some college football, but
Yeah.
I wasn't watching that. So it was probably Office reruns. I just lost track of time.
Yeah.
Michael at Zany boss. But yeah, I didn't.
call that Sadie Boss.
I know Grant watched it. He said he loved it. He said it was great. I saw some, Phil quotes that
Yep.
seemed funny. Some Barkley quotes that seemed funny. Apparently, I'm told that Brooks did not hit a fairway for the 8 holes that they played, and he still rolled Bryson.
I didn't even think of that. He beat him that bad in a 12-hole match. I'm sitting there thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
it was like
No, yeah.
5-4 or whatever over 18 holes. No, or over an 18-hole match. I'm like, no,
Right.
it's only 12
It
holes.
was
Like,
12. They played
really
8.
really got their money's worth on that one.
But they did raise a bunch of money, I guess, which is great.
Did you see
Bryson
that?
hit 400 yard drive.
Did you see when I replied or when I made the tweet the tweets on the Twitter.
Oh yeah, and some dude like
He's like,
oh,
they redid this. Like, yes, clearly that's the spirit in which I intended. And let's be honest, every single one of these guys could like just tweet something out going, hey, I want to raise $2 million for this foundation and it'll be done. So
right.
Spare me this. Oh, this big humanitarian effort they made.
Right.
Like they won't find a way to make it anyway. And it's still, I guarantee you, cost a fortune to put on. Why don't we take instead of the money spent to put the match on?
For the production, sure.
Yeah, for production.
Right.
Let's just go donate that money too and save this time. All right.
There you go.
So
It's
spare
so
me
fun.
spare me the hero tweet.
The matches historically now have been very interesting I think this is the first one I didn't really watch. If you go, I guess maybe it's like anything else, but if you went on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, Facebook, it was great. And it was also the worst. Like, you know what I mean? There was no
polarizing.
There was no sort of middle ground. Either people really loved it, and it was like, I think the no laying up guys were like, it delivered. It was exactly as expected, whatever. And then in the meantime,
of course they were like that.
In the meantime, some other, whoever it was, account was like, that was so dumb and so boring. So yeah, whatever.
Hey, but
I still think they're missing out on. And maybe it's harder to get people in, but like I think a Steph Curry playing one of those would be great. I think getting some women involved would also be fantastic.
Yes.
And pull in a little more interest. It's got to be a little more dynamic. It's got to be something different other than
you heard it here first. The Cordes sisters are going to play a match against each other.
Be great.
Can you make that happen?
Yeah. I'll call Nelly. Let her know.
Nels, real quick.
It's got to be Christina Kim's got to be involved, either announcing or playing.
I think she plays the role of Phil. And it'll be awesome. Minus maybe the same gambling expertise.
Right. Right.
Just saying.
Right.
Tell you what. I didn't ask you about this on purpose.
Okay.
TV I did watch, and when I had time to watch TV, this is what I was likely watching. Did you watch Get Back?
I have not watched it yet.
Interesting.
I have not. It's on my list. I got to make time. I got to clear the schedule. I need to not be distracted. Mm-hmm. That whole thing to watch Get Back.
All right, then we won't talk about it. Here are the comments I have to make.
I've already seen some bits and pieces and heard some things, and
people are like, it's a little aimless. I'm like, well, it's 60 hours of footage that didn't get used. And I watched an interview Ringo was on Jimmy Kimmel, and I watched it on YouTube, and he's like, I didn't like the first documentary that came out way back when with Let It Be and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because if you look at this 60 hours of video, there was a lot of fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were tough times in there, but we had a lot of fun together. It's four of us hanging out, having a great time. And that got missed. And this shows that, and so I liked it more. So that said, like I saw a tweet where they go, I can't help the whole time I'm watching this, but to still be unsure if they're going to get this album done or not, even though it's already existed for 50 years.
Right, that's impressive.
They're never going to get this album made.
That's impressive, yeah.
Right. So I don't know what people thought was going to be in it. It was hours of footage capturing them candidly. Like, to me, it wasn't going to be this big buildup of a story.
Right.
It's literally being a fly on the wall, watching once in a multiple century lifetime group of geniuses at work.
Right.
And that's what you take out of, like, this is what, to me, it humanized every single one of them. John Lennon seemed a lot less crazy. So I don't know what people were looking to get out of it, but if you're looking for anything more than that, like,
that's
anything more than like, holy shit, I get to see the Beatles just being themselves and being who they are, doing what they do, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I saw one clip where you see McCartney trying to figure out Get Back.
Yeah.
The actual song. And it's the most compelling thing I think I've ever seen.
It's
incredible. You've got Harrison there and Ringo's there, and they're just kind of waiting for him to figure it out. And it's clear
George literally starts yawning.
Right. Yeah. He did.
Well, in the caption, the subtitle or whatever that comes over, it says, running out of time, Paul's trying to come up with new ideas for more songs.
Okay.
And so he literally just materializes Get Back.
he just does it, and you get to watch it. You get to watch him. He's mumbling where he has no words necessarily yet. He has a melody, and he's trying to figure out on the guitar. And then Harrison and Ringo jump in. You're like, holy shit, man! They just wrote Get Back.
Yep.
God,
so that was awesome. The other takeaway I had, since you haven't seen it yet, but there's two characters to pay attention to, and one of them, shame on me. But first was this guy, Glyn Johns.
Okay.
He was the producer.
Yeah.
Basically. The amount of influence, weight, and pull he had with those guys. Did more research on him. Again, probably a Beatles person. Like, how do you not know his story, whatever? But he did Stones, Zeppelin. Right. He did everybody and was one of the, ended up being like a premier sound guy. Really in 60s, 70s, 80s, really up until he kind of retired for a bit, came back, did some work, but just a genius. Then it's funny because if you recall, this was all for Let It Be. Then they went and recorded Abbey Road.
Right.
Released Abbey Road first, then Let It Be.
Right.
All the recordings they did for Let It Be, most of them, ended up not being his version. He gave them 4 versions of the album.
Oh, really?
And they ended up using
the different producers.
Spector's
yeah.
version of it instead. And he I don't remember the exact quote I read, but Glyn Johns is like, yeah, I've heard the one they released. It's really just a big mess of bullshit. It's like, God, he's calling the Let It Be album, and he's probably one of 3 people who can say that.
Right.
The other character, Billy Preston, an American,
sure,
a black American, playing electric piano on really everything.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to do the whole thing live, that was important to them, but they only had 4 people to play instruments. And they're like, we need someone playing that who can do it. And he was in town for, a job or something. And they're like, can you just play here real quick?
Yeah.
And then they got to a point where he kept coming back. He's like, yeah, I'll come back tomorrow. Where they're like, we got to pay him. And now he's going to be on the album. Like, we have to pay him. And he was there so much and so ingrained in it. Now he's in the rooftop performance.
Oh, yeah.
And my takeaway that he was awesome. And frankly, if you're asking me hearing those songs, I'm like, this guy might have made all of them. He certainly saved the sessions and arguably the band at the time, which I'll let you see.
Yeah.
But just so good. And he's another guy who ended up working with everybody under the sun. But there was some line, I guess, not in the movie, and John sits down at the electric piano, and it doesn't sound right. He's being the genius that is John Lennon.
Sure.
And he's like, either to George Martin or Glenn, he's like, we got to get somebody in here to tune this. Somebody come in and get this electric piano tuned up. And Billy Preston just goes, and he's only 23 years old at the time. Billy Preston goes to John Lennon of the Beatles, electric pianos don't go out of tune. And John Lennon was like, okay.
Wow.
They're like, who's going to say that to John Lennon and get away with it?
Right.
And he had that command with him. John Lennon's like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure that's all right. I
Fair.
guess I can't
That's
do
fair.
it.
Right.
So yeah,
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it for sure.
But don't worry, I did do some Creek watch.
So you saw the finale?
I did.
Yep.
And then I saw
season 2.
Yep. We're on the. I saw Dawson's trickery to win the big football game and get the first win at Cape Side High.
Oh, that's right. Well, you're on episode 3 or 4 in season 3. You're okay.
But so I want to point out, Dawson has, I forgot who it is, the new film teacher, the
dad's girlfriend.
Yeah, good looking younger lady.
Spent a few years in Hollywood, ended up in Cape Side.
Dawson's so excited to pick her brain.
Right.
And she says, and they do this a few times throughout the show, but I'm wondering if this, if maybe they do it on purpose, and if they don't, like, God, are they really this out of touch with their own product? But in talking about Dawson's movie he was so proud of that he made, she says, it's a preposterous soap opera about a bunch of teenagers who talk too much.
Right.
I went back after hearing that to write it down line for line to share with you.
Right.
Preposterous soap opera about teenagers who talk too much.
Right.
That's Dawson's Creek.
Right. I want to think that the show is very self-aware of itself because they also do the cheer that you caught.
Yep.
When they cheer to the theme song.
I don't want to wait.
Yeah, they replaced the words. It's either that or I want it to be like a Seinfeld moment. You know, on Seinfeld where they said when they're starting to make the show Seinfeld, like season 6 or 7 or whatever it was, and George is like, it's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the president of NBC watched an episode of Seinfeld, and that was his response.
Right.
It's a show about nothing. Yes, so I'm hoping someone somewhere wrote that or said that, and they're like, you know what? We're going to put in an episode.
If anybody knows,
yeah, by all means, God, let us know.
Leave a comment. I'm
Right.
sure nobody. Who else is watching this with us? I like to believe somebody is, but based in the comments, I doubt many.
My own family isn't watching it with me.
It's so good though. It's not. It's actually very terrible. Oh,
Can you believe they killed Abby? They just killed her. Like that. Nope, that's the end of Abby.
We're just done with her.
Spoilers.
yeah.
But yeah.
Way to ruin Dawson's Creek for everybody.
Spoilers, guys. Sorry.
Side note, Grant wasn't even born. Intern Grant wasn't even born when the show started.
Came out?
And he was giving me the business, but it's like, I'm more of a Stranger Things guy. I'm like, it's not even relevant. I'm like, show some respect for Katie Holmes and Michelle Williams. All right. 2 great characters out of the Batman series.
Is there another Stranger Things coming? Do we have another Stranger Things coming?
Yeah, it's like April.
Yeah?
April. Okay.
Sweet. I do love that show.
I did see Ghostbusters with the Stranger Things kid.
Did you?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Ghostbusters at all?
Let me watch that. Is it available on a streaming service? Or
I think
is
it's
it...
HBO Max.
Okay.
I saw it at the theater.
Did you go to the theater?
Yeah, my sister did one of those, rent the whole thing out.
Oh, thanks for the phone call, I guess. It's cool.
I don't know.
I got you going to movies. I got Adam going to putting things. I don't get a goddamn phone call from anybody, man.
You know what? In retrospect,
come on.
I keep
I guess I'm too busy producing television, YouTube shows.
To be fair, I keep forgetting you're as flexible as you are these days. I'll just put it that way. We don't need to get too into our personal lives and professional worlds. And could pull it off. I mean, it was pretty last minute for us, especially because, like, I'll be honest, we're still pretty COVID sensitive. I got boosted that day.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was beat up, like, oh, I'm boosted. I don't know if I'm going to make it. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, I'll be fine. And again, she rented
out. It's a
out
movie. You're not going to play hockey.
Right. And she rented out the whole theater.
Yeah.
So it's not like
baller move, sis.
Well, apparently that's a thing people were doing, and it's fairly affordable.
Really?
Fairly.
Yeah, man, I want to do that.
Right. And it's not.
I won't invite anybody. I'm just going to sit in the movie theater by my damn self.
Yeah, as you should. So she did that, and it tugs on the right nostalgic heartstrings that I want it to.
I've heard that.
But there's a lot of dumb, cheesy things in it. But if you're watching it to be like, wow, this is going to take a place in American cinematic history.
Right.
Like
it's a Ghostbusters movie.
They've already done that. You know, they've already been there. So that was my feeling towards it. It's still a kid's movie at the end of the day, you know?
Right.
So I enjoyed it. A lot of good little.
Did Liam love it? Because I know Liam.
He did.
Yeah, he's
he
a big Ghostbusters guy.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of like little things to catch if you've seen, you remember the movie,
Easter
and knew
eggs.
it well.
Yeah.
Only Easter eggs. It's like if you don't know it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But they did I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Paul Rudd's exactly who you want him to be, as always.
Every time.
So that was Ghostbusters talk.
By the way, Siggy Sauer, the Paul Rudd,
I saw him comment that, but why?
We were talking about actors that are kind of like they've jumped the shark on us and they're everywhere now. And we talk about Chris Pratt.
And he's saying Paul Rudd jumped the shark?
Well, he says Paul Rudd is just basically everywhere, which is fair, but that's because he's the most talented human on the planet.
I mean, I don't know.
He's the sexiest man, first of all.
That part is true.
That's indisputable.
It's
Second of all,
well documented and recorded. He's the sexiest man alive.
That's right. I told you that I had a Paul Rudd appreciation night at my house as a single man, a single heterosexual man, and we had a movie night with all Paul Rudd movies before he became like Paul Rudd.
When was that? Because that was a fairly limited scope for.
It was like 12 years ago.
Okay.
13 years ago.
Okay.
We did I Love You Man, I think. We did Anchorman.
I mean, if I Love You Man and Anchorman were out, it's like he was the.
But he wasn't Ant-Man. He wasn't landing these roles. 40-year-old virgin, or not 40. Yeah, maybe it was 40-year-old virgin.
40-year-old virgin was out before Anchorman and
yeah, those might have been the three we did. because we had a movie night. It was before I think This Is 40.
He's so good at 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, he's the best.
That's
the best.
Mindy Kaling before she was Kelly.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
look at that. Grandpa probably wasn't even born for that either. Yeah, I love Paul Rudd. He's really good. And every time he's on Conan, does that whole, like, we show you a clip and it's the same thing. Never shows the clip. It's very good.
It's awesome. Sorry, Siggy. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you're just, if he's saying he's everywhere, fine. If he's saying he's jumping a shark, like, stop watching stop watching us.
I don't think it was jump the shark. It was just like, at a point, it's like they just saturated the environment and it's like, okay.
I love Paul Rudd. He's the best.
Same.
All right, what am I missing? Anything? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. That's a show.
One last thing.
Yeah, one last thing.
At the end of the show, we promised it last week. You wrote a post about it. It was very heartfelt.
Something like that.
Would you like to, verbally give thanks to those that...
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Oh, man, I tell you what, again, as you know, little more behind the scenes here, where my head being in a different space these days.
Right.
It's like if my mom thinks I'm going around the table and doing the, like, what are you thankful for thing, I am in no way emotionally or mentally prepared to do that this year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's worth... we tell them all the time. Especially in the show, we talk about it a lot, but there are a lot of people for the weird ass year I had that crave stability, which sounds dramatic, but there are a lot of people that helped not just keep the site going per se, but like keep me going and just be like, hey, it's good to just have some supportive, wonderful friends out there. Obviously, Jason, Jay, and Ryan at Sub 70.
Yep.
Like, I mean, even little things just like, hey man, how you doing? Ryan's day job was very helpful with all my health stuff. I'll just put it that way.
Yep.
Which is so weird to me. Like, hey, I know we talk about golf or golf companies, blah, 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 but oh, what do you got going on? Like, here's what I do. Maybe I can, if you need to bounce some things off someone. So I can't thank them enough. And then even that, like, hey, I can't keep up with the pace like I used to, but I got to keep the site going. They've made sure I have what I need. Ryan's like, oh, you gotta be outfitted for when you're going out exercising, doing all these things. Let me make sure I got you all the gear you need. Like, hey, wow, thanks. That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Obviously Claffey, it's great to us all the time, but
that's John Claffey of Tour Edge Golf.
John Claffey of Tour Edge, just making sure same thing. Like, hey, we have stuff coming out. What can I do to help you keep things moving on? Helping with the show, whatever it is, we need. So he can't thank him enough. Victor Afable, as always, helping with this show. Just same thing. Hey, man, don't worry about your golf website. Just need you to be alive. That'd be great.
Right.
A lot of that from him and means a lot, believe it or not.
The Vintage Range Hero.
The Vintage Range Hero himself, Justin Thompson, writing a lot of vintage golf posts. It's a little different direction for the site, which is nice. It's refreshing. It's just different content you're not seeing everywhere. So that's been helpful, and just having the buddy support randomly about dumb things. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's perfect. That's been great. Spencer and Eric at Fujikura, same thing, getting random calls from him like, hey man, just seeing how you're doing. Shout out Eric having a baby this year. Thanks to those guys. And then
did Wallach just have a baby?
Wallach from True Linkswear, next on the list here. He had a baby as well. But same thing. I'm running True Linkswear shoes into the ground, and my pair of those just came this week. Purchased those with the Black Friday sale.
Yeah, $100. God,
I'll just tell you this: the amount of shoes they have sold this week.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Hats off, True Linkswear, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
He's been super supportive. Again, same thing. Like, hey man, how you doing? Just checking in on your health, sort of a deal. But I have not hurt for fresh True Linkswears to run to the ground. Man, I have. I mean, I've rifled through them, and they're super durable shoes. I've just wear them all the time for everything. So he's been great. Can't thank him enough, and his family, to be honest with you. Then obviously friends and family, all you guys who.
That's really why I brought it up.
Right. Thank you. I love you. I'm so thankful for you. No, but I am actually. And all jokes aside, like I'm having this to do every week, even when I feel like I can't do all the other golf content stuff I'd like to do with the
Yeah.
raid. I'd like to do it. It's always nice to look forward to this. Especially doing them in person the last few
I was
weeks.
gonna say there's a reason that we sit in this garage and
Shockingly,
Yeah.
even though it's freezing, it's still fun.
Right.
And I was thinking as we're going here, I'm like, it's weird how once the mics go hot, you're like, I'm not so cold, I'm all right. And then once we get to the end of the show, you're like, no, I'm friggin' freezing. And borderline miserable. But yeah, so I can't thank you enough for just being a good pal and being there for me. So I
had no
appreciate
choice.
it.
I tried not to be in your.
Just be nice one time. One time.
When I'm uncomfortable, I make jokes and make it worse.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know about uncomfortable making jokes, but you do make it worse. That part I'm not thankful for. But yeah, that's it. I feel like that got really run on, and I felt uncomfortable talking about it. And
No, man, it's good. It's good to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you, fellas. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so professional. Hang on.
No.
Let us dramatically pause in our
No,
video show.
that being said, are we going to do a show next week? Is it next week? The timing. I'm terrible at timelines.
No, I think we're all right. That's a good point. So you are traveling.
I'm leaving the country.
And I think it's not recording the show. I think especially now that we have Intern Grant, I think we could record something, but by the time you get back and edit it,
Right. We're recording another one.
right. So I feel like at this point we deserve an off-cycle vacation.
You deserve a break, Mr. 96 episodes.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But yeah, so we'll take a break, take next week off. Maybe we'll have something else dropping. We'll see.
Maybe.
I definitely have an origin stories. Check that out. Still keep
That's
that,
true.
keep
Yeah.
you
What's
busy.
going on the website? Let's wrap things up here. What do you got? What do you have going on?
We have the last in the UST Mamiya Lin Q M40X
Oh, yeah.
reviews.
Okay.
The red shaft in the lineup. We have that, and then an interesting post that I really enjoyed when I read it to schedule it. The Vintage Range hero Justin Thompson created a Hickory Basics post. What does that mean? What are all the different clubs called? What's a Mashie? What's a Niblick? What's a
Long
Mashie
overdue.
Niblick?
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome.
And then what does it mean? What do you use them for? What clubs do you need in your bag to go
Sure.
play Hickory golf?
Yeah.
He explains all of it.
That's awesome.
Especially remember, like, this is before there were rules, like how many clubs can you have in the bag. So some guys might have 37 clubs. Some guys might have 4.
Right.
So
Right.
check that out. It's really good. I know that has influenced some of my Hickory purchases. Definitely just won an auction for a driver and a spoon last night. $42 shipped for both of them. Yeah, I was very excited.
Psycho.
All right, anything else?
Matt Neely is the Golf Origin story that just dropped. He's the VP of product design of Tour Edge.
I just know he's like the R&D engineer,
Yeah.
whiz kid there now.
He's the mind behind the E521, C521, 522s. The Wingman was his first. That was his. The Wingman putter was his interview.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he tells that story in the show as well. So
That's worth checking out.
yeah. All right. So before you close the show, Grant, move this camera right over so you can see the flag. I feel like you couldn't really see the new flag. Yeah. Okay. Now do the subscribe thing and all that stuff.
It's a lot of pressure. All right. That's Chris McEwen at Chris McEwen on all the social medias. This is his YouTube page. Go down below, subscribe, hit like if you don't mind. Give us a thumbs up. That'd be great. The bell so you get notified when more hit videos hit the page. I said at Chris McEwen on all the social medias. I'm Bill Bush, driverangeheroes.com, at Range Heroes on all the social media. This has been episode 96 of That Range Life, a show, and it's about golf. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone.